Testing. Testing. One, two, three. Testing. Testing. One, two, three. All right, guys. Welcome back once again. I don't know if you can actually hear the background ambiance that I decided to put on my soundbar, but it's the background ambiance of Star Wars universe of Coruscant, like air traffic noises and some background music, if you will, like you're really there. It's amazing. Decided to stick with the theme of Star Wars anyway. So, on to the discussion of the season one overall of The Acolyte. In a way, we're sort of closing this until at least next season for Acolyte discussions. So, for the very last time of discussing Acolyte, we can definitely have some ups and mostly a little bit of in betweens and downs in this whole series. Of course, it's not as great once again as like Book of Boba Fett or Mandalorian. Um, but I do have to admit, this has had its definite good moments. Uh, some life teaching lessons that can teach us things too as we're watching it. So I want to share with you guys once again what online tells us about Acolyte in general. So, about the entire season one, Google has ratings that say IMDb is 3.9 out of 10 stars. Obviously, that's a fail rate. But Rotten Tomatoes is a little more on the enthusiastic side on giving it an 80% Rotten Tomatoes, which is like a B minus B grade. So, in a way, Rotten Tomatoes, the Rotten Tomatoes critics website is definitely on the optimist here. They definitely must have seen the right moments throughout the whole season that we all definitely needed to really take in and absorb. In a way, it was definitely teaching us some stuff. I mean, behind the bad story and script writing, I mean, there is still sometimes a little more to that. Sometimes you need the scenes that are telling us something, as well as where the writers are coming from. Each person does have a different perspective. This is not George Lucas and his crew. They definitely knew Star Wars best because they created it. But as for Acolyte writers, they are woke activists. They are definitely pro of the LGBTQ plus community. I mean, everyone thanks them for that. Um, they are definitely about a whole new twist in the Star Wars universe. They're focusing some things on the books, like kyber crystals and saber, you know, colors and how the colors of the blades change. They decided to go with the concept of crystals changing to a red lightsaber when you do something of evil action with it, rather than just replacing the crystal with a different color. Um, George Lucas, I believe, had said one time in an interview that kyber crystals supposedly are supposed to change when a Jedi does a bad or evil Sith-like action. But I believe to keep it sustained that color for like permanent is they need an actual color crystal to change in the heart of the saber hilt. So that was that's probably going to be a different discussion about, lightsabers in general. But this entire season of Acolyte has definitely been kind of a roller coaster through the critics of the optimists, which is around where I was. I was kind of in between the highest optimists and the low and the middle people who are like neutral and not sure, like a thumbs right here, not down and not up. You can kind of say I'm like that. I'll just give it I'll just do the optimist kind of direction. Like saying, and I'm not neutral because I love Star Wars, though I don't think it was this excellent. It was like a little less than that. So season one overview rating that I give it is definitely right here. I have to agree with Rotten Percent Tomatoes 80% that it's saying right here, and I do have to give it maybe 85%. I'll bump it up 5%. I give it a solid B. So I don't believe there's anything more that I want to show you guys here. So we're going to stop the share. All right. So, yes, that's my overall rate of this entire season. I give it an 80%, 85% Rotten Tomatoes, solid B. Um, Again, like most people say, up at this point, now that the season has concluded, it had its ups and downs. Season one started at like a not so great. I mean, the trendy line was kind of like down here until episode five. Ratings got a little more popular, so it kind of went more in between. And then after episode five, kind of fell again. But then the finale gave us a couple of great surprises, not to mention Yoda's face and a clue of Darth Plagueis the Wise. That's when views on the finale of the season one finale skyrocketed, as what I definitely observed over online. So I have to agree with that perspective and directions that the people were giving it. Um, I still would recommend this series if you are more on the lightsaber battles and fights kind of side of Star Wars of things. I mean, every episode um at least has, I believe, one lightsaber, ignition so you can see the effect of the blade or whatever. Um, but only a few of them in season one have had actual battling. Um, the acting was okay. Um, but at the same time, some people were not so, enthusiastic with the acting because some say, oh, this person didn't have to behave like that. Oh, these sisters have so much family drama, and it's all about sister hate, sister hate. And well, sure. I mean, there were moments where I kind of disagreed with how they acted, but at the same time, it ended on a good, solid note. Things may have been bad at first and along this season that I have to agree with most people on, but I do have to admit it was worth seeing the finale. And now it leaves us at least with wanting more for possibly a season two because, oh, the surprise couple characters that we got to see, will they be continued in the next following season? So that is a question that remains a mystery to this day. At least until season two comes out, we'll see if it was true or not. And my other thoughts of season one, again, like I said, I love how they had teased possibly Darth Plagueis the Wise, the Sith Master at the time, before the birth of the Emperor Palpatine, and Yoda's face. Gotta love that. He had to be in here somewhere. And I actually do um I do hope that they would show some kind of protocol droid and astro droid in this series, kind of like what R2 and 3PO were. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing those droids in this series anytime soon or down the future because Acolyte is still way before events of Phantom Menace. It was before Anakin was born, so there was no 3PO because he built him. But also, if there was not going to be C3PO as the protocol droid star, I would like to see um another protocol droid that's like 3PO, maybe the silver one, like um before 3PO, there was TC-14, or like from Phantom Menace in the very beginning, who was more of like a female kind of 3PO, if you will. I mean, everybody always nicknames TC-14 the female silver 3PO. Oh, that's kind of funny. Or some other protocol droid, maybe a different color, a different voice, or just for old time's sake and nostalgia, maybe they could get Anthony Daniels to come back and maybe voice a different protocol droid that's not 3PO's character. Maybe he can be somebody else. Um and for an Astro droid, we're not really entirely sure what year that R2D2 was built, but we do know that we've seen him on those uh Nubian ships from Naboo in the droid pit chamber as working like a droid mechanic. Remember who fixed their Nubian ship when it was blast trying to get past the blockade from the Trade Federation? Well, the Astro droid R2 was obviously the star. We can only assume, was he probably built new just at that time, or has he been around in those ships for like hundreds of years? If so, maybe R2 could possibly be cameoed in Acolyte somewhere, but at the same time, it may confuse audience because once again, this is not Lucas's kind of Star Wars. Maybe R2 will not be included somewhere, and possibly a similar protocol droid to 3PO may be involved in the future, but definitely 3PO's character not. I only do hope that they can involve those two type of droids somewhere because it'll be kind of like a good shout out for 3PO and R2 because in all of the movies, they've been in it somewhere. They're kind of like main the main stars that are just the extra like cherry on top of the sundae to complete a good story, if you will. So yeah, it's just a possibility. And also the whole entire story timeline of season one has definitely come a long way. I think that most of it has been focusing on Jedi and Sith, which is what we can expect, but I think it's been focusing more on the Jedi more than it has on the Sith side of the galaxy. Because, well, there are definitely Sith moments, but then again, I mean, possibly Darth Plagueis's hidden shadow in the background. Maybe he will be coming out more um uh what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe he will come out to be more noticeable and in the light in the future season. Maybe we'll hear him talk, maybe we'll have him, be more out than hidden in the shadows, but maybe still in hiding because the Sith at this time are still considered extinct because according to Master Ki-Adi-Mundi on the Jedi Council, the guy with the long white beard and the coney kind of head, um, he had told Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan in Phantom Menace, that the Sith had been extinct for a millennium, and a millennium is 1,000 years. And this is only 100 years before Phantom Menace, so it was still the time when the Sith were in hiding. So maybe Darth Plagueis's plan was just starting to arise. Maybe he wanted to be the first to actually pick revenge on the Jedi and finally come out of hiding. But maybe it wasn't possible. I mean, the only time when we noticed that the Sith came out is when Emperor Palpatine, who became the master at the time after Plagueis's death, had sent his first, possibly his first apprentice, Darth Maul, to, you know, spring his appearance to let the Sith be known once again. So, yeah, that's very interesting. It's a very interesting topic to talk about too. So, I think that's just about gonna do it for the whole discussion of season 1 of Acolyte. So, if season 2 is coming out, which I believe is confirmed, I probably may have to check that again. So, why don't I do just that? Acolyte season 2. Let's see what it's telling us. Will there be an Acolyte season 2? It definitely says at the time of writing, there are currently no plans to greenlight a second season. Well, it possibly makes sense since season 1 was not so, highly rated. While Lucasfilm is reportedly expanding its universe with novels and comic books, there is very little hope for a return to Disney Plus. So we got our answer for now. So I believe those are the only questions that I can probably think of that I probably have answers to. And this discussion is officially closed. Acolyte season 1, same time. Well done. I'm optimistic about it. And if season 2 does come around, we'll be there to see it and we'll be there to discuss it. But at the meantime, I may continue doing more live streams discussing different topics and areas in the Star Wars universe. It won't be about Acolyte, as at this time, Star Wars The Acolyte discussion is concluded. So after this live stream, please stick around on my channel. I'm going to be releasing my season 4, episode 23 video of the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie review with Scott Applier Popcorn Fan. So please stick around on my channel for that video. It should be uploaded in about 1 to 2 days after this live stream ends. So possibly Sunday, but definitely no later than Monday. So thank you guys for those of you who came here tonight. And it looks like we don't have anything in the chat, so we can now just end this here. So don't forget to press that like button when you can and comment down below your thoughts of your overview of season 1 of The Acolyte in general. And what other Star Wars topics do you guys think I should talk about next? Please give me some ideas. Anything is appreciated. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more fun stuff to come. See you guys next time. Cash Vault.